Well, this is Rocky, and not to be confused with Rocky Road. This is roadless gear. Not Rocky Road. This is roadless gear, and this is not a commercial for him. But I'm a person that believes in supporting American business, especially up in where the true Americans live, up in Montana. So, anyway, not to knock anybody else, but this is a locker I got for my Jeep. Now, I heard a lot about PowerTrax lockers, LockRight. They're supposed to be pretty strong. And unlike a limited slip, this puppy locks the rear, but it's not always locked when it's going around a turn. So I'll have to explain how this works. Basically, well, you got these two other pins that sit in this side too, right? You got one on this side and one on that side. And this sits in the differential housing like that. And this, let me get this thing like this. Rocky, I'm trying to show you too at the same time. So this sits like this, and it goes like that. It spins, right? It spins the wheel. Right? Spins the wheel. Now the way this works, if you look real careful here, there's like a gap. This thing doesn't really hold together 100% tight. And what happens is, since you have that slight gap, you see these serrated teeth. Actually, excuse me, on the outside. These serrated teeth right here. That allows this to kind of come in. In other words, when this is totally together, right? And you have the pin in there. It's totally together. That allows enough for it to slip on these teeth. And you'll hear it go click, click, click. Like one wheel on the outside will be spinning a little bit faster than the wheel on the inside. So you hear it go click, click, click. Well, this pin doesn't exactly sit in here. It's not the hole. This hole is not exactly the same size as this pin, right? Pin kind of sits in here loose. So what happens is, there's these little springs. Yeah, right there. See them? They sit between the two halves right there. So this is like opened up just a hair, right? That just opened up a hair, right? And that allows it to close and just spin. And in other words, it allows it to release on one side, because when this closes, the gap is totally closed, it allows just enough for it to click. But what happens is, when you're applying pressure, like in other words, you got torque, right? What happens is, this hole that's in the center here, this actually where it sits, the pin sits, it's a little bit larger than the pin. So what happens is the pin will go against this like that. See how I'm pushing that? And then it opens up. In other words, the torque is, in other words, the pin is attached to the carrier, which is attached to the ring gear, which spins like that. So when this pin is attached to the ring gear, and you're getting into low traction, it puts pressure on these two locking plates, and it pushes them outward just that little bit like that, and that's enough to make those teeth totally positively engage, and that is what keeps it from slipping. So it totally locks in place. Yet when you're going around a corner, since that where the hole is, where the pin goes through, it can close up all the way like that. And that's maybe, I don't know what it is, an 1/8 inch or something, or 3/16 of an inch, but it's enough that it allows it to slip on those teeth. You'll hear it go click, click, click on a faster outside wheel. So this is a total positive locking differential for a very low price. It's only a couple $100 or so. It's more than a couple hundred, actually. I had to get the version for, because I have 1985 Jimny 1300, but it has the SJ410 axles in it, even though it has the 5-speed 1300cc in the transfer case from the Samurai. It's got the SJ410 axles in it with the 410 gears, and it's about 3.5 inches more narrow track than the stock Samurai, so I had to get the different model. So this model is, I don't know if it says it on here. Yeah, I think the other one is 510. This one's 520. I can't remember. I think the other one is 1510. This one's 1520 because I have the one for the what do you call it? The SJ410. That's what type I have in there. But anyway, you know, if you have a limited slip, it will not lock like this. You can have a spool and you have a problem with that. You can use, you know, a spool will not allow the outside wheel to turn faster, and you'll be tire skipping left and right, and that's a problem on dry roads especially. The limited slip can slip. Now I know, like the old Chrysler 8 3/4 pumpkin rears, and just to give you some from the 1960s Mopars and the early 70s, those damn whatever the hell they had limited slip in those things. Those things would not slip at all, because I remember putting one wheel on ice and doing a burnout with the other wheel going up a hill. And it was like a freaking toughing it like a locker. Now the other option besides this to have a full lock-up rear is an air locker, but it's more involved. There's more stuff you got to do. It's about $1,000. There's more crap that can go wrong with it. It could be better in some situations, but it's not worth it to me. It's best to install these on the rear versus the front. On the front, I just want to add this. If you put this on the front, and well, it's not too bad, but sometimes when you have a limited slip on the front or any kind of thing in the front that's a locker, sometimes they call them like a ditch finder, because if you have one wheel that's losing traction due to spinning, the other wheel kind of anchors it, and it keeps you from sliding off in one direction. So if you have a permanent locking differential in the front, it's probably better for off-road. It's not too great for on-road, so I'm probably just going to keep this in the rear. So anyway, that's basically how it works. You know, it's this hole that this pin goes into, and this whole thing's attached to the carrier on the ring gear. The hole itself is a little bit bigger than the pin, and that's what allows it to come together like real tight and leave enough room so the locker can slip. You'll hear click, click, click when you're going around the corner, and then this pin pushes up against the side here and opens up this just a slight amount like that when you have the torque on the pin from the ring gear carrier case, whatever you want to call it, and then it opens this up a little bit, and then this presses against the side, and then it locks into place. And in between these two locking plates, like again, you have the these little springs and stuff. So anyway, I got to make sure I read the directions good before I put this puppy in, but it shouldn't be too hard. So that's basically how it works. This is a smart idea, and from everything I heard, this brand, PowerTrax, I'm not a commercial or nothing, but I heard this one is a solid brand. It doesn't break. Another one out there I heard is a good one is called Spartan. They're not much money. But there's a lot of other stuff out there that does break. So you want something that's quality. And actually, I got this from Roadless Gear. You know, they seem like this, everything they sell, and I'm not a commercial for them, but I'm telling you, I researched the hell out of this stuff for a while. And, you know, I pick up that people who sell this stuff, when they are four-wheelers, you know, up in Montana, and they've been doing this stuff, and they've been around people in the market, and they've been around for a while selling stuff successfully in the market, everything they sell is not screwed up. You know, it's good, it works, and it's at a competitive price. I found their prices to be a little bit better, but they're the only guys that had the the one for the SJ410 axles. That's what I got. So anyway, over that, just want to show you how this works. It's a great concept. You can put this on pretty much any damn thing. And if you have the back wheels where they lock up, they're far more important than the front a lot of times, because you can put weight in the back. I know sometimes you say with the front wheel drive, but you know, like I said, if you got something that locks up pretty quick in the front, it could be a ditch finder. So in the front, if you want to have a locker, you're probably better off definitely having an air locker, which is more money. So the first thing you want to do is have this type in the back.